University of Oklahoma made some coaching changes this week. Have you contemplated any?
No, not at all. I don't believe in that, to be honest with you. This is college football, and that's not something I believe in. I worked for Bruce Snyder, the old head coach at Arizona State, University of Cal, and one of the things that he always talked to the players about was that when you start the season, you decide once that this is where you want to play, this is where you want to be, and go through your cycle. And but I don't believe in that.
Bobby, how much of that tentativeness on defense could be attributed to an unusual offense?
Yeah, I think somehow, some way that we set something in our players' minds that they cut, they block low, because we were tentative, we were getting hands down, we weren't running, we were being, tentative on the type of cut blocks that they have, and certainly that can't happen. There's something that we did as a coaching staff to make our players tentative about it and not run and go full speed to the ball like we should.
The guys we've talked to have been saying all the right things, but is there any concern that you have lost any of these players or could lose some of them going forward?
I mean, that's always a concern as far as who wants to continue to work hard, who wants to continue to have a positive attitude, but we're going to keep working at it. We see improvement by the offense, and defense has been the group that's had the good attitude all year long. Offensively, we've had some challenges when guys don't get as many balls as they would like, and the things that always go along with it. But I also talk to our players about, making sure that we stay away from some of the things that go with losing, like class misses, tutor misses, not putting enough effort into everything else. One of the ways that you really excel as a football player is you have everything else in your life in line. You go to class, you go to your tutor sessions, you do things right off the field as far as eating and sleeping and studying, and then that allows you to get on the field and play well. So I'm going to make sure that our players stay away from the things that go with losing games, and continue to do the things that we do off the field.
Coach, they've been able to get pressure 2 weeks in a row straight up the middle. What have you all been seeing with teams trying to scheme to get you guys to allow that?
Yeah, we've had some issues inside with our, the guys working together, understanding exactly what the line movements are and where my sets are, how my hands are. And then there's been a couple that we've gotten overpowered, and we've got to be able to, set better, have better balance and punch and not catch. So some of it's technique, and some of it's communication. But I know we only had 2 sacks the other night, but we had way too many pressures, way too many where we get a first down, but he had to go to his left and throw the ball to the left when he would have really liked to throw the crossing route to his right that maybe would have came out the backside for a huge play. So those things affect you just as much as the sacks do. So we got to continue to work and shore it up.
Bobby, obviously there's been a lot of, as you know, as always, public reaction to the job you're doing. How do you react to that?
Yeah, I just work, I just go to work, have a positive attitude, try to get our players to understand that we got to continue to work and get better. I've been in this game a long time, grew up in it, part of my life, been through things like this with my father and some of his seasons, and I haven't really experienced one like this, but I do feel like I'm a good football coach and I know how to win games.
Your players defended the job you're doing on Saturday. That obviously hasn't been an issue. Like you said, the years you've been here, do you worry about that becoming a thing that weighs on your team as the season goes on?
One thing that you worry about with our team, players, and life in general is the social media. The fact that that's the first thing they do is pick up their phone and look and see what's being said about me, what's being said about, my teammates, what's being said about, whatever. and that's just the, you know, the life that we live in right now. So they have to be able to manage it. They have to be able to, you know, not take things personal. You know, be able to handle the criticism. So that's part of the life that we live in right now.
How do you treat it? How do you?
I just try to work, man. I just try to go forward and, you know, get ready for this game. The biggest thing that we have right now in front of us is Boston College on the road. You know, we've always played well against them on the road up there, so we've got to go get ready for the game and prepare for it.
Are you able to insulate yourself? Do you listen to the radio as you're driving to work? Do you look at social media, or do you just block all that out?
I listen to the radio on the way when I'm driving to work. I listen
Talk
to
radio
either, well, there's a country station that I listen to. There's, oh, I can't think of her name, like something Laura. It's a rock and roll station that has really good, you know, rock music that I can, it depends on what mood I'm in, whether I go with the country or the rock, but regular Laura, I think is her name, 107.7, and she always makes me laugh on my way to work in the morning.
So no talk radio?
No, I don't listen to talk radio, no.
That's probably good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That's right. That's right. You certainly don't know for sure, but how different would BC be without Dylan, and what have you seen from how good he's had so far this season?
I mean, he's a special player. You know, he's a guy that is not only big and physical, but then has the speed and can catch the ball out of the backfield and do all kinds of things. So, you know, they kind of had his breakout game against us a year ago. You know, when we were up 21-7, and then he kind of made some huge plays and got them back ahead. We came back. We had a chance to, you know, win it at the end and didn't get it done. But, you know, he's a big physical, runs inside, can run outside, can take it all the way. So he's certainly, you know, something that they're going to feed him the football, you know, if he's ready to play.
One of their hallmarks seems to be physicality at the line. Does that show up in film, that how physical they are offensively?
Yeah, you know, they'll utilize 2-3 tight ends and really run, you know, the power running game with him.
Coach, there's obviously a number of things that you've mentioned that need attention on both sides of the ball. Do you view any of these things as quick fixes, or do you view, you know, that there's a potential to turn this thing around and still have a positive season?
Yeah, I think we have the potential to turn it around. You know, we've actually been 2-4 before. We started the year 0-3. You know, when Lamar was a freshman, and then got back on track and finished really strong. So. That's what you have to picture. That's what you have to do. But the way to do that is to focus on one game and get ready for Boston College and go find a way to win this game.
Do you see that there's ways that you can correct some of these things kind of quickly during the week?
Definitely. We've, you know, like I said, offensively we've been improving. We've been correcting things, and we've gotten a lot better. Particularly, you know, at the quarterback position, he's executed. He's thrown the ball for the type of percentage that you would like. Taking care of the ball. His decision making's been a lot better, so there's no question that we're going to continue to get better.
Do you think there's a price to be paid for having turned over defensive coordinators 3 times in a short span? Is there a learning curve that just never gets complete?
Yeah, you know, I really feel like that, you know, Brian came in. We have a whole new team on defense, a bunch of young guys. I was really worried in spring, you know, thinking the learning and the curve and how everything goes. And then we came back in fall, and I really thought they improved and made huge strides. You know, they've been playing well. They've done some really good things as far as keeping us in games and giving us a chance to win. We've gotten some experience show up in, you know, tight situations when you would, you know, at the end of the game at Florida State where you'd like to see it not show up. But, you know, they've really improved until this last week, until this game. And, you know, we got to get it back. We got to get back to where we were playing and the type of speed and effort and attitude that we were playing with.
What's the biggest improvement you've seen with Puma over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think really his understanding of defenses and being able to focus and keep his eyes downfield, He made some really good things happen on third down the other night, and they gave us some different looks and rotated out of it. He saw post-snap movement. I think that's one of the things as a quarterback. You know, you start seeing the pre-snap alignment, pre-snap, but then at post-snap, you have to understand what the safeties are doing and what the linebackers are doing. You know, we had progression called to this side of the field, and they rotate that way, and he throws the ball into the boundary twice for big first downs. So things like that that, you know, really have shown up on video show that he's really focused and concentrating and working hard at it. You know, I think Puma's a tough guy. I think that he didn't have the start to the season that he wanted. He played well against Alabama, then we had the monsoon, and then things just didn't go well. He loses his job, comes back in, and all he did was work hard and you know, try to get focused. And I kept telling him, your opportunity will come back. You're up, you know, and I know he was wondering, well, when is that going to be? And then when it did happen, he was ready for it. So you know, I think that shows a lot of mental toughness at that age.
And when they putting Jordan in, and what did you think once you watched the film of what Jordan did late in the game?
Thought we were gonna have to get out a paper bag there for a little while because he was about hyperventilating. You know, he ran all over the place, and he could barely get off the field. He's really got a talented arm, you know, and has some special instincts. Certainly athletic enough to run and make plays. He did get really, you know, nervous and showed that he's a freshman, but he's a very talented freshman, and he showed his toughness too. You know, he stood in there and threw that touchdown pass at the end. He did get really tired, and you know, he hasn't been out there yet, so that's understandable too, especially when he ran around like he did.
I mean, you like to draw on old experiences, old stories to help. You told last week the story of the long bus trip and from Montana to
from
California.
Ogden, Utah to
California.
Long Beach.
So you like to draw on those experiences, but you also said earlier that you're not sure that you've had a season start the way this one has. How will you, I guess, react to that as it goes on?
Well, when you think back on the 0-3 season, you know, what you do is you just work on getting better each day in practice and focus on that. And, you know, we got to keep these guys from getting down. We've got to stay positive, pull together. I think we've had some young men that are working hard at that, and the leadership is getting better and tougher. But, you know, this is also part of their learning experience and their growing up and their maturity. And something that we got to do it right so that we can have a good end to the season. And then, you know, they're going to have issues someday down their line, and hopefully this will help them.
In that year, that I think it was 2015 when you started 0-3, when you improved the rest of the season, that was aided by that quarterback you had, number 8. What's the way you get better with the team that you have in a similar way?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like we did the other night, mixing it up on who we get the ball to and who makes the plays. You know, we're getting more guys involved. The last 2 weeks, I think that's helped our offense. We got tight ends catching balls. We've got young receivers catching balls, making plays. You know, being able to get the ball to Trey and Hassan and running the ball football better. We have to get where we're in the game and we can run it more. That's what I want to see, is in the game and run it more. Defensively, we've made strides. You know, that was a different offense. We've got to be able to put that behind us now. You know, that's one of the things that we did this morning is we watched that, and then we came back and watched Florida State with the defense so we can see the success that we did have and why and how fast and hard we were playing.
All right, else?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.